We are back with another episode, employee appreciation, reward and recognition, because there is a circus out there. There is a circus out there and we need to clear that up, the corporate kindergarten once again. But before we start clearing away the kindergarten stuff, my new book is out, you guys. Look at the size of this book. Now, HR professionals, employees, leaders and managers. If you want to do good for your employees, please, The Blind Leading the Disengaged and How to Design Employee Experiences, okay? I will put the links below. But this book itself will help you to transform your company if you want to. If you don't want to, that's fine. So I just received it yesterday and I will be talking about few stuff. How to design employee experiences from a hotelier's perspective, because who is better than us in designing experiences? Nobody. Now let's go to employee appreciation and rewards, because I have a lot to say about this topic. And the first question I would like to ask HR professionals, and here I'm gonna touch upon employee engagement as well a little bit. Can you please produce me the evidence and show me or how you got to the conclusion that kayaking, ice cream, yoga session, get-togethers, team outing, Calm application and all that contributes to employees' well-being, happiness, engagement, motivation, whatever narrative you want to fit those activities into, because we are also confused about those. And if these are the things that, how much impact these interventions actually have on those. How did you come to that data? I would like to see it, because I have read hundreds of academic research paper and nobody has ever, showed us or gave us the idea of any of these. So just want to see where HR professionals are coming from. And for us, for employee appreciation, reward and recognition, also I would like to ask, what led you to give me something that I don't appreciate? And then you tick your box, Sylvia has been appreciated this month. This is where we start the conversation, okay? Because once again, you guys are not listening to your employees. Now, we're not going to be able to cater for everyone. And I think employees are not unreasonable. They understand that. I have received most of the time crap that never even made it out of my office, okay? But you know what? The once in a while genuine thank you worked for me, okay? Some people wanted things that I got. So I worked for a hotel company. There was time during my working hours or period, but I had to spend months and months in hotel rooms, when we were opening, when we were traveling, when we were training. And then on in one year, I got 2 nights in one of our properties here in Dubai, and I particularly hate that property. So I said, oh, thank you, this is really great, right? Because we played the game and I'm not an idiot. So I looked at my colleague who has 2 kids and the wife. I'm like, here we go and spend the weekend over there. That's it. It's fine. He appreciated it. He loved it. But I ended up getting nothing for the work I have done, which is fine. But we can't do that. And that's because you guys don't listen to employees. So, it's never my opinion. Well, some of them is my opinion, but it's always the collection of what people are saying. I'm more interested about what employees are saying about the experiences regards to employee appreciation, reward and recognition than what HR is saying. So here are some of the stories that people, say on the internet. The company I'm working for hit 1 billion annual revenue last year. For Christmas, all the employees got a blanket. A really small one. You can really just use it as a hand towel, unless you are a hobbit. So a blanket, a couple of oranges, and a postcard in which they proudly mention that we hit 1 billion target. How do you think your employees are going to feel? Are they going to feel rewarded, appreciated, and recognized? There's the balance is off between what they achieved and what they get as a reward. Basic psychological theories come into the picture. That's why I keep saying, forget about engagement, study human motivation, and you will not make these mistakes. I brought the company 2 million contract and got a chocolate bar with a message on it saying, you are the best. Thank you. Been practically killing myself at work since January 3rd when they laid off the one person there to help me. This week I was told I would be getting something that I would love and would definitely make me happy. That something was 2 slices of pepperoni pizza. This is what I got as a gift from my company for successfully going live with the client with 2 million euros contract. Seemed pretty fair. A bottle of macaroni. Shall I go on? I'm not going to go on because you guys know the drill. This is what we are doing to employees, and employees are telling us, but we are not paying attention. So that's the introduction. Let's move on to the Employee of the Month reward, because that's not something that we would like to see. First of all, let me start with that there is no criteria for performance. So when you see these Employee of the Month rewards celebrations, first of all, every single time when we had that in my hotel and I was leading the team, even when I was not leading the team, I had to push my employees to show up for this engagement event. Oh, please go. No, boss, we don't want to go. I'm like, please go. Because the GM is there and we expect everybody to show up. Employees don't want this. And if you don't pay attention, and I told HR many times, I'm like, I need to push my employees. It means that they don't want to do it. No, we need to do it. Okay, but why? And there was never an answer, okay? So, first of all, there is no merit to this. You know how we select? We apparently send out a survey to each head of departments, please select. Apparently there is a vote, who is voted for who. But then you ask the employee, because I'm like that. I'm like, who did you vote for this month? And everybody like, what? So you know that the whole thing is rigged, is all made up. Then you ask the person who got the reward, the certificate, Employee of the Month, and then you ask them, why did you get it? No idea. And then obviously you work within HR, and then you hear conversations. Okay, which department was not, appreciated or given the Employee of the Month, or the person who was not in the past 6 months? Oh, okay, make that person. How do you think people feel when they know that they are not recognized for something extraordinary or something? We don't even know why they're recognizing them. They don't know why we are recognizing them. So I think we need to address this, because, and I'm going to read something for you, okay? And then we're going to go and see what, how, and who to, or when to reward. So let me read that out. So it's all in the corporate kindergarten. Distinguishing what is reward worthy is important because undeserved appreciation does more harm than good. And I kept saying that to HR. It's like the 7th place trophy, right? There is no achievement there. Rewarding for simply doing the job you are employed to do or participating in something can lead people to believe that what they are doing is good enough and there is no need for improvement. So imagine me doing an average job, an okay job, I'm doing my job, what I'm hired for, and then I got rewarded. That's what my salary is for, right? And then I get rewarded for, first of all, Why? Second of all, I will believe that I'm doing fantastically, so there is no need for improvement. Seriously, who wants a reward for just being good enough? This approach hinders the development of a growth mindset where resilience is lacking, but low performance and low self-esteem thrive. And now pay attention, because I like research and I like academia. I don't like the rules of the thumbs, of corporations making up stories. We now have 2 decades of research data that contradicts the idea of undeserved rewards or participation trophies, which is currently a big trend at schools. So we started in schools. I don't know where we started actually, probably in corporations. We shouldn't reward anybody out of pity or because HR has an engagement agenda. Oh, don't we love the engagement calendar? Darlings, nobody wants to participate in your engagement activities. Drop it. The money that you spend on it, give it to your employees. This is what they want. Or, ask them what they want. We should instill in people the desire to work harder to reach the criteria of high performance to be rewarded. Carol Dweck, a psychology professor of Stanford University, has studied growth mindset and resilience her entire professional life. She found that while kids obviously enjoy receiving praise, I'm going to sneeze. I'm sorry. Okay. Kids receiving praise from their parents, teachers, and coaches. Too much praise actually leads kids to shut down and give up when faced with difficulties. Another negative side of too much praise is that high-achieving people resort to cheating if it means the avoidance of failure or disappointment of those praising them. And I have seen that. We always manipulate the data, especially when it's all about KPIs and competition. These are the competitive people. Undeserved praise or reward, i.e. the Employee of the Month celebration, without merit and actual achievement, also encourages people to stay in their comfort zone, preventing them from branching out and developing new skills. So look at your team and be brutally honest with yourself. Does the guy who organizes staff activities as part of his job deserve a reward? Does your receptionist deserve an Employee of the Month certificate because her name showed up on TripAdvisor 10 times this month? No, that's the job. But why do we deem her the best employee this month? Because the rest of the team failed to do their job. She is not a superstar that needs to be rewarded. Rather, the rest of the team needs to be dealt with. But giving a certificate is easier than managing low performers. Okay, so we reward for exceptional performance. How about praise and positive reinforcement? Let's not forget about that people thrive on praise, and it would take a while for them to produce something you can reward them. So if you wait for too long, the person might get demotivated. So when people do a good job, just say thank you. That's it. Useless paper certificate, nobody wants it. And I'm telling you from the employee's perspective, don't mind me. I don't value it. But I'm telling you that I have seen these certificates, your birthday card, left behind. Sometimes they don't even know. Sometimes I found the person who is working in the basement, his birthday card on the 70th floor. Nobody cares about it. So why don't we move or give people something that they care about and they value? Now, what, when, and how to appreciate or reward, right? First of all, we need to separate appreciation and reward. What do we need to appreciate? Coming to work on time, doing the actual job, being nice to others, allowing employers to exploit people. Oh, she's always staying overtime. You are exploiting me, and now you give me a paper certificate for this. What is it that we need to appreciate? Hoteliers are horrible at these things. Every appreciation event is a cringe I cannot wait to get away from. Every event ends with a person standing for a picture with the GM with a forced smile on their face, holding a certificate worth exactly as much as the paper and the ink cost. Suppose you ask anybody what the person is being appreciated for. In that case, you receive a vague answers like, he's a hardworking individual. He goes the extra mile. We don't know what that is, but okay. Always there to help others, or always stays overtime. Basically, they are being exploited, used by the company, and rewarded with the certificate and the picture with the boss. And you say, tick box, we appreciated people, and you put it out on social media. Please don't embarrass yourself, okay? Now, finally, these posts on LinkedIn are disappearing because I think people started to understand that if you as a manager, you're not allowed to put this on your LinkedIn profile. Only the employee, because if I appreciate the certificate, because there are people who do, they will post it. But you cannot post it because you are just self-marketing, and that's petty. So when should we reward? When exceptional behavior or performance happens beyond the requirements of the role. This is when you reward with the real stuff. Now, what is the real stuff? How do we reward? Genuinely. Based on what the person we are rewarding values, and that is very unlikely to be a certificate with stars on it that very much resembles the ones we received in nursery. I'm very sarcastic about it because I have seen it. I have seen it, housekeeping teams working double the the legal working hours, and they get donuts and pizzas. And I get upset. You know what? I'm not even sarcastic. I upset because this is using and abusing people and giving them something that is convenient for HR, for the management, for the company, but they don't value. So imagine you are constantly getting the gift of something like the pair of socks Christmas present, right? You already know this is what you're gonna get, the pair of socks from Granny. Okay, great, fantastic. That's why I don't go for Christmas to Granny's, right? Rewarding is the easiest thing, but requires information about what the person appreciates. It is that simple. And no, it doesn't have to be a surprise. What it must be is something the person values. Some people prefer cash, and some maybe a dinner or a stay in the hotel with their partner. Some want a day off or even a dreadful certificate. We don't know what people want. Giving everybody the same thing, whether they value it or not, is an effortless exercise showing the exact opposite of appreciation or rewarding performance or recognition for that matter. And here I go on in this book about more examples, what we do with people. So appreciation is literally, thank you. It was a good job. I really loved it. Or I really loved how you interacted with the guest. Do more of that. People love that, right? Or appreciation could sound like, you know what, Sylvia is the best in working out complex matters. Leave that to her. Recognition is giving something, right? Is appreciated recognition is kind of like an overlapping, right? But it's also recognizing what you have done. And now you might give something smaller, right? But still something that the person wants. And then reward this is when we talk about big. You reward comes in with extraordinary performance. So we can separate them, right? So when there is extraordinary performance, you achieve 2 billion revenue. You brought in a 2 million euros client. You achieved your bonus or your KPIs. You know, the first time, like Accor last year, reached 1 billion EBITDA. I think that calls for reward. Bonus, it's payoff time. Or when Sephora reached last year $10 billion revenue by Black Friday, and what they did, they gave cookies to their employees. Now, this is when reward comes into the picture, in alignment with the value that employees have brought in and provided. So this is when you do, and you ask, what do you want? And now you don't give certificate. Now you pay money for whatever. Some people will want cash. Some people buy me a holiday if this is what you want. So you need to look at what is it that how can I reward these people in line with what they have achieved. And appreciation and recognition is really the small stuff. Appreciation could be just word, and recognition is the smaller things. People done just a little bit above what they are being paid for, right? So appreciation, words, the person did the job that he or she was hired, but it was really good. Or maybe the performance that we discussed last month, that, you know, Sylvia, you are not very smiley, but today I'm smiling. So just one word, I loved how you smiled at that guest, just an example. And recognition is really, now I'm giving you something small, because that's okay, you know. Let's go for a coffee. People appreciate that. People appreciate small little touches. But what you need to all keep in mind, that whatever you do, it has to be in alignment and equal value, you know what I mean, with what you are recognizing, appreciating, and rewarding. Because this is the misalignment in here. This is what's creating the ridiculous situations. And here I write, I was watching a video, and a man who worked for this company for 53 years. Now listen to this. This is what I talk about, misalignment. And if this is the only thing you can do, like, just don't do it. Just don't do it, because now you're humiliating people. It's demeaning. So this man worked for 53 years at the same company. And before retirement, all he got is a picture, him working, doing the job, signed by his colleagues as a present given to 2 managers, and taking a picture. And that picture ended up on LinkedIn. How much we appreciate. Now, you know what? If I spent 53 years of my life with you, I expect $1,000 per year to be given. I'm sorry, I'm retiring. So when the person is retiring, maybe, especially the person who spent 53 years of his life with you, maybe the reward should be in alignment with that. And the reward should help the person to financially, to help that transition, you know, whatever there is. So when I see these things on LinkedIn, I just know that we don't understand what appreciation, recognition, and reward is. We just really don't. And what we should do. And we mistaken one for another. And we're just giving things because then we can justify and say, yes, we recognize people. Once I heard the HR director, yes, we recognize people. We have a screen at the entrance of the company with the picture of the employee of the month. Nobody wants that. Nobody. Nobody. Literally. And I like to speak for people in this way, because I like to listen to what they want. Now, some people would love that, but you would love that if there was a merit behind it, you know? Then you would. But it's just employee of the month. Okay, well, for what? Or when HR says, how can we engage people? For what? Or how can I make my employees happier? So I think we need to move away from this, because no HR person has ever provided me any answer. Who wants these donuts, coffees, pizza parties, outings, certificates, useless presents? Or the answer to my question that how did they get to the conclusion that this is what yield result? Because I know that companies spend tens and thousands of dollars every month on these engagement, recognition, reward, whatever activities. But it's literally throwing money out the window because they don't do anything. People don't want their certificates. What they want is money. And it's increasingly the case with Gen Z. Just ask them. So maybe we have enough money. Because the answer sometimes is, oh, well, we don't have budget. You do, because you are throwing money out the window. So maybe what we should do, stop all the activities, especially the engagement calendar. Because when we ask, how do you achieve employee well-being and work towards the happiness and engagement? Oh, we have National Day, we have monthly birthday celebration, we have monthly employee of the month. Throwing money, you are wasting money, you should be fired from your job, okay? So maybe we should freeze all these activities and the money, save the money, take the money, what we spend on those, and sit down and ask the employees, guys, what is it that you would like to have? And see what is the available budget and what is it that we can make out of it. And I always say that reward and recognition and appreciation and all that, or reward, it should be a menu. What do you want? And that can be changed. Not that's difficult, but nothing is easy. You know, what is valuable. So put your effort towards your employees' recognition and rewards, HR. Figure things out and give them something they need. You know what? I know people who would rather appreciate the extra 100 dirham per month or the extra $100 per month. Now, I know a person, a manager who takes his employees once a year for traveling. And whilst the company pays for it, then the employee is paying it back. Do I agree? No, but the employees are happy. And they can deduct it from their salaries, you know, throughout like in 3-4 installments, so they don't feel it. Like, do it, because otherwise these guys would never travel. They would never see the world, because all they do is sending the money back home to their families. And I can't say no to that. So it's the best of the both worlds, right? Now, could the company afford to pay the 100%? So maybe this is the conversation we should have. Hey, you have shitloads of money in that company, okay? So maybe this year, don't deduct it from your employees. Give it to them. You already paid for it and you didn't feel it. But they will maybe feel it a little bit, you know? There is so many ways of appreciating and rewarding and recognizing people. But we should not be lazy about it. And it takes effort. What does Sylvia appreciate, you know? What does Peter appreciate? And then go from there. Well, I hope it helps. Don't do the kindergarten stuff. Because those certificates, we left it in nursery. Not even my grandma kept those bloody certificates from my nursery. And you guys are still continuing it. Yeah? So, that's for that. And don't do the happiness things. Your job is not to make people happy. It's not to make them unhappy. Provide good working conditions, great leadership, reward and recognize and pay according to their output, and that's the risk to it. Nobody wants fun and, you know, merry-go-round and fanfare and ice cream. You want to give me ice cream? I'm always against the ice cream, right? But you should ask your colleague. We used to have on Friday ice cream machine on in the canteen, and I love this. And I was always the happiest person. I'm like, yes, today is ice cream. And then one day, the ice cream machine broke down. And I was like, disgruntled. I'm like, I need my ice cream. Now, did it contribute to my happiness, engagement, or no? So these are small little treats. don't mistaken them for motivation, engagement, reward, or recognition. No, these are small little treats that made me happy. I knew it's Friday, right? And I could have my weekly cheat because I don't really eat ice cream and stuff. But I was very happy. So when you hear me talking about no ice cream, I'm a hypocrite because I wanted my ice cream on Fridays. And then the machine broke and I didn't have my ice cream. Very disappointing. So reward and recognize, create fantastic leadership and good working environment, pay them well, don't abuse and use them. And that's the risk to it. You don't need to go and run or jump in hoops. That's not what they want. Bye, see you next time. Next time we're talking about this book. Look at the size of this one. I had a lot to say about HR.